Part 1, the full scope of Domino's ICX hack in federal court is far worse than just the big pen. With transcript, look at that. I briefly skimmed over this the other day, but we're going to go through it in detail today. It says here, last week, University of Michigan professor Dr. J. Alex Halderman stood in front of a federal judge overseeing the 7-year-long Curling versus Raffensperger case in Atlanta and shocked the gallery. Halderman was able to successfully gain super user access to the Domino's ICX marking device. It's called a BMD, using nothing more than a Bic pen. After interviewing a local citizen journalist who witnessed the hack firsthand in the courtroom, transcripts show the pen hack was just the tip of the iceberg. Where are we at? I'm not going to go through all this. There's a lot to go through. Makes sense why I didn't go through this the other day. Look at all that. Oh my God, look at that. It's still going. Hold on. Let me just do this. Oh, there we go. That works. In June 2022, the Cybersecurity Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA, published a report detailing 9 critical vulnerabilities in the Domino's ICX BMDs. Based on the then sealed report prepared by Dr. Halderman, the 90-page report has since been unsealed. For the layperson who doesn't speak geek, the CISA report does not articulate the seriousness of these vulnerabilities and further what they can accomplish once exploited. But perhaps most importantly, how easily they can be exploited, then often automatically, even by minimally trained attackers. The Big Pen attack. Initially last week, Dr. Halderman was able to use the Big Pen to press the power button on the back side of the Domino's ICX machine for approximately 5 seconds, which rebooted the machine into safe mode. Dr. Halderman was able to do this without removing or breaking any of the safety seals that are installed on the machine to prevent tampering. Once the Domino's machine was booted into safe mode, Dr. Halderman was able to launch the Android launcher, which is a menu of different applications installed on the device. He noted that the Android 5.1 is severely outdated. Current Android runs version 14. When asked if Android 5.1 is still supported by the manufacturer, Dr. Halderman answered, "It's not." Counsel then asked Dr. Halderman what he could do with this type of access, to which he responded, well, we have the file manager. This is an application that will let me on screen navigate through files on a machine. You can use that to copy or delete files or to open them up in an on-screen text editor and edit or even change the contents of the file on screen. Here we have the settings icon that allows you to change any of the operating system wide settings or to remove or install software on the device. So through the settings application is one way that someone could directly install malware using this safe mode vulnerability. End of the excerpt. Dr. Halderman then discussed an application called the Terminal Emulator. He described it as a particularly powerful. The Terminal Emulator allows you to run a command called SU or super user. This is used to bypass the operating system security controls. Dr. Halderman said a computer would typically challenge you for a secret password to gain this type of super user access. But utilizing this Big Pen hack, Dr. Halderman was able to simply gain that access through a simple prompt. The prompt reads, would I like to allow super user access, allow or deny? Dr. Halderman described what he was able to accomplish with this type of access. He states, well, gosh, super user access would allow me to read, modify, or change any of the data or software that is installed on the device. Wait till I get to part 2. Part 2 talks about how they were even able to edit the update log, which means, who accessed this machine on this day and this time? Delete. Oh no, I didn't edit anything off the air, after hours. He was asked, are there any limits to what you could do to a ballot using this access? And he says, to the ballot data on the machine, no, meaning no limits. Okay. They asked them, are there any limits to what you could do to the election software on the BMD with this access? And he says, no. But this, end of excerpt. But this hack wasn't discovered by Dr. Haldeman, and it wasn't discovered recently. In fact, this critical vulnerability was discovered by the U.S. Selection Assistance Commission, the EAC, in January 16th of 2020. This is before 2020 selection, guys. 11 months before. It was the first month that Georgia deployed the Domino's machines. Dr. Haldeman previously received a Domino's machine for his initial testing and subsequent report in August of 2020, almost 8 months after this vulnerability was discovered by the EAC. It wasn't remedied then. It doesn't seem to have a remedy to this day. A full 4 years later, the machine Dr. Haldeman utilized in the courtroom for the demonstration was provided by Fulton County's Selections Department in the configuration used currently in selections. This was just one of many vulnerabilities that were demonstrated in Judge Amy Totenberg's federal courtroom.